Hi, friends. Several years ago, I learned about a story that happened during World War II, and that story has just stuck with me. It happened in North Platte, Nebraska on December 17th of 1941, just 10 days after Pearl Harbor. Rumors spread through town that men from the Nebraska Army National Guard would be passing through by train through North Platte. Now, the story is that all the trains stopped at North Platte because this depot was where the tires were re-lubricated and other maintenance happened. So about 500 family and friends gathered to deliver gifts of food and cookies, baked goods, candy, magazines, and so forth. So the train was expected to roll through around 11 a.m., but never showed up. Finally, around 4:30, a train arrived, and all the 500 people were cheering and expecting these servicemen. But they stopped when they realized that this was not who they were expecting. These were servicemen from Kansas instead. And then suddenly a person just stepped forward and started handing out whatever he had brought to these people. And it caused this ripple effect, and everyone just started handing out what they had brought to these people, service people on the train. And there's the reports of some of them were just speechless by the generosity of these strangers. One of the people at the depot that day was a 26-year-old girl who had expected to see her brother on that train. And she was so moved by this experience that she thought that this should be a permanent canteen that would greet every single train of soldiers that passed through and provide a little bit of comfort and a little bit of joy during wartime. And so it happened. It was created. The depot served each trainload of servicemen and women. It was completely staffed by volunteers from the town. Each train that stopped for about 10 minutes, and this gave the volunteers enough time to quickly interact with the soldiers, hand out baskets of fruit or baked goods, lunches, playing cards, cookies, and so forth. The volunteers also did things like would send letters to the loved ones or send messages home for them, make phone calls. So as the war continued, the generosity of the volunteers just continued to grow and grow. When rations were put in place for items like sugar and coffee and cheese and butter, and these things that these volunteers were really using to serve these trainloads of people, the volunteers donated their own ration stamps to the canteen to allow them to purchase the supplies that they needed. As the word spread about this effort, more and more groups came from hundreds of miles away to donate their time and their baked goods and so forth. There's a great story about a local 12-year-old boy who picked up a lot of odd jobs and just sold everything that he had in order to raise money for the canteen. This canteen and its dedicated volunteers became a vital part of the war effort, keeping up the spirits of hundreds of soldiers who were homesick and scared. As many as 24 trains passed through North Platte every day, so this was quite some effort. Some days the volunteers served thousands of soldiers. They gave out cakes on soldiers' birthdays and sang happy birthday to them. Every one of the soldiers was treated like family, and volunteers saw to it that not a single train was missed. No soldier was ever charged a cent for the items they received in North Platte. By the end of the war, the North Platte Canteen had served more than 6 million military men and women, and the entire population of the town was only 12,000. So this was quite a story. There's a great book about it also that tells a lot of the personal stories. It's wonderful. It's a great story of really and truly giving from the heart, of real generosity and kindness to strangers. The striking thing to me is this great ripple effect that the small kindness had, and it continued for such a long time. But as to what is within, give alms, and behold, everything will be clean for you. In today's gospel, Jesus was invited to the home of Pharisees who observed that Jesus didn't ritually wash his hands before the meal. And Jesus rebukes them, saying that you're worried about washing the outside, but what about the inside? He says, as to what is within, give alms, and everything will be clean for you. Give alms from within. We think of almsgiving as giving to the poor, particularly monetary things. But I'm not sure that Jesus is saying just give to the poor and you're going to be all set. Because I think about that story from North Platte. For years, these people totally opened their hearts. There are stories that the food was so delicious that the servicemen felt loved and cared for, and they remembered that kindness for years and how it helped them through a really hard time. The planning that went on was a huge part of it because the train schedules were not publicly available. They had to create a system to alert everyone that a train was coming and that it would be met and provided for. This was all such a big labor of love and such deep, heartfelt kindness toward strangers. Maybe Jesus was saying to us in today's reading to give that way, to give from what is within, give of ourselves, give our whole heart. There's good within us. There's a lot of good within us. Give that, share that. What can we give? Well, we can certainly give monetary gifts, but we can also give our time, our listening ear, our helpful hands, our words of comfort and support and kindness. Maybe someone's given you these things when you least expected it and when you most needed it. Who knows? Maybe our heartfelt acts of kindness can have a ripple effect also. And in these days, we all need it, don't we? We need this kindness, this ripple effect. So today, let's be mindful of who in our life needs our alms, and let's notice who shares their alms with us. Let's pray for the gifts today that we receive with hearts full of love and kindness, and let's pray for those who will receive our alms. I wish you a blessed day and a wonderful week, and until I see you again, I wish you peace.